Hi, thanks for coming back to my channel. My name is Pitt. I make videos about marketing, business and crypto so you can grow your business, increase your profits and increase your portfolios. The title for today's video is Bitcoin dropped below 20,000 USD. This is why. In this video I'm going to give you my views around why Bitcoin dropped to less than $20,000. It's Monday when I'm recording this. It was Saturday night UK time that Bitcoin dropped below $20,000. Okay, before I get into the main content of the video, I'm going to put my socials on screen here. So if you're active on any of those platforms, follow me there, connect with me there, send me a message and I'll respond in the usual fashion. Okay, on Friday, Jerome Powell, the chair of the Federal Reserve, and for UK viewers, I'm in the UK, so for UK viewers, the Federal Reserve is the US equivalent of the Bank of England. It's the American Central Bank. He made some comments, Jerome Powell, that interest rates would rise again in the future. And usually this is done in a way to try and stem inflation. So if you raise the cost of borrowing, it's believed to be a good tool to control inflation. Inflation in the US at the moment is currently 8.5%. If that's not spot on, I will put the corrected figure on the screen now. In the UK, where I live, inflation is 10.1%, which is the highest rate it's been for over 40 years. So you can see inflation in the UK and the US is a problem that needs dealing with. And in the UK, we've also put interest rates up recently. The relevance of this is that central banks are using the interest rate to try and stem or cut down inflation. So 10.1% is what we're facing in the UK. And this normally is done when the economies seem to be heading in the wrong direction. Let's put that in layman's terms. And just to give you a greater context from an economic point of view, the US has had 2 consecutive negative quarters of economic growth. So GDP has shrunk, has contracted 2 consecutive quarters. And that is the technical definition for a recession. In the UK, we are perhaps at the same stage. And if we're not already in recession, and it's August 29 when I'm speaking, we're not already in recession, we'll be heading to recession when we reach the date of October the 1st, because then energy prices, the cap will have been lifted and energy prices will raise by a large percentage, and that increase will push us into a recession with, as I say, 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth. So that's where we're heading. What does this mean? This means that there's a lot less confidence, and you could call it in investment markets we might call that bearish sentiment, a lot less confidence in making continued or ongoing investment decisions. People start to take their funds out of investment decisions because they think they'll need them just to survive the economy. That's on the sort of retail investor perspective, retail investor level, the level that we're on. Okay, so that means that people will be taking that, some people short term will be taking their money out of Bitcoin, and there'll be less investment or less funds available for buying Bitcoin. There'll be more pressure on sales of Bitcoin, and this will be the same across many of the altcoins that are also available in the cryptocurrency markets. It wasn't just that Bitcoin was affected, also affected was the stock market. So the US stock market, on the day that Jerome Powell made these comments, the US stock market lost $1.25 trillion. And that is equivalent to, that's larger than the whole of the cryptocurrency sector itself. And the US stock market lost over $1 trillion in value on one day. So you can see how influential these statements, these comments from the coming from the Federal Reserve are. They've had a big impact on stocks and on cryptocurrency. That's why Bitcoin dipped below 20,000. It's now slightly, as at the time of recording, it's now slightly above 20,000. But I wanted to just provide some sort of explanation, because you'll see lots of videos from me and videos from other commentators and YouTubers and TikToks as well from myself and from other people talking about the price of Bitcoin, and you need to understand why the price has changed and what the significance of that is. So if there's certain macroeconomic factors, and there are, so like inflation, obviously the conflict in Ukraine and versus Russia, impact on the prices of all of these, of both stocks and also on crypto assets, you can see that there's an impact there, and that's why the prices change. So when you're making your investment decisions, and this is not financial advice, when you're making investment decisions, you must try and understand why. If you see people suggesting that you should invest in a particular crypto asset or a particular stock, you should always try to work out for yourself, do your research, why you should invest in a particular stock. A lot of people will say, oh, invest in this, it's only this price, and that's not a rationale for investing in anything. Always do your own research. So yeah, what will happen next if inflation becomes controllable? And I say controllable in inverted commas, if inflation does not continue to increase, and there are forecasts that inflation in the UK, I'm going to focus on the UK for the time being, will reach 18% next year. So that has catastrophic impacts on people's livelihoods. The cost of living crisis is how it's been termed, and that will have a squeeze on investment markets, whether those are stocks or, as we focus here on this channel, crypto assets. So people are less likely to be investing in crypto assets from a UK perspective if the cost of living and the rate of inflation continues to rise. I mentioned the word recession, and in many cases when there's a recession, there's a lot of pressure on the job market, so jobs may be lost because there's less money available for people to maintain certain businesses. Certain businesses find it very difficult to survive in a high inflation environment, and there's pressure on them to make cost efficiencies, and the cost efficiencies sometimes turn into job losses. So that's also a factor to be considered when you're thinking about inflation, recession, and what happens to the economy in that environment. So we'll see. We'll watch the situation, and if you are responsive to this video and you think it's useful, me explaining why Bitcoin price dropped, then I'll make more videos like this. Thanks for watching all the way through. I appreciate it. If you've liked this video and you found it useful, please give me a like. Click on one of the two thumbnails to watch another thumbnail from me, and I look forward to speaking to you next time. Thanks. Bye.